going on, everybody? This is B. Scott. I'm here with my man G.O.D., and it's week 9. We're looking at matchups, starts, sits, and pick'ems right here at the first 4 downs. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? Week 8 is in the books. Now we're looking ahead to week 9, and we're looking at matchups. You saw on Thursday night, we just had the Niners winning the game against Arizona Cardinals. A little bit of a shocker. Cardinals put 25 points on the 49ers. That was a shock, to most people. But Arizona was at home, and it's a divisional matchup, so I see how they could put up some points. But yeah, we're going to move ahead to the first matchup on the docket, and that's going to be Houston Texans on the road against Jacksonville, and truly overseas, they play in London. So, G.O.D., what do you got?
Yeah, this is a weird matchup in England, I guess. Houston is only favored by a point in this one, and I don't understand why, because you know what? The defense is Jacksonville's defense is banged up with injuries. They got Marcel Darius already out on IR. Calais Campbell has a back injury. He's been nursing. Their shutdown slot cornerback DJ Hayden is questionable for this game as well with a neck/shoulder injury. It could be crazy. You know what I mean? I think that we might see a dominant game from Carlos Hyde and Deshaun Watson in this game, being able to run over them, especially with Kenny Stills nursing a hammy as well. You know what I mean? So what was early in the week, I think DeAndre Hopkins had a thumb injury or whatever.
Yeah,
but I think he's good to go. You know what I mean? He'll be on the field. I think Houston's going to blow them out, man. I really do. Only thing about it is it's in England. So you never know with those games.
Yeah, you're right.
We just seen the Raiders destroy a great Chicago Bears defense over there a couple of weeks ago. So
they almost beat the Texans. Raiders almost beat the Texans too. So this is my thing with the game. You look at two offenses that are looking pretty high powered, and Gardner Minshew, they're saying this could be an audition game for him. And if he loses this game next week, Nick Foles is supposed to be back. So this could be the last time we see Minshew. We don't know yet. So there's huge ramifications for the Jacksonville offense. And Nick Foles, we just don't know. We haven't seen enough to see what he can produce in that offense. But for me, you got two teams who it's a divisional matchup, divisional rivalry. Both defenses always tend to step up. But Fournette should have a decent game in this game. Decent game considering J.J. Watt being out for the rest of the season. Hurts that front seven.
That's true.
So I could see a lot of points being scored in this game, but if you look at the history of these two teams, they really haven't put up a lot of stats against each other. Their defenses tend to show up, so that's my only worry with this game. It's hard-pressed to call.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think the Texans should take the game, but Jacksonville, man, that offense is no joke. DJ Chark showing out, top 5 receiver in the league, I want to say, fantasy especially, and Leonard Fournette, top 8 rusher. So there's a lot of room for a lot of points in this game, but I would be hard-pressed and worried because, like I said, with the divisional matchup, them clashing together. I got Jacksonville in this one in a close game.
Oh, man, I got Texans all the way. You know, you think about the Texans' skilled position players. They're good enough with that banged-up defense that Jacksonville have to keep that Jacksonville offense off the field, I think. So I'm going to roll with the Texans all day long.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean? It's a 1-point favorite, so I see it could go either way. But next on the docket, we got Indy going against Pittsburgh on the road. And this one's a little different. Indy, we just found out today, T.Y. Hilton's going to be out a few weeks. And then on the Pittsburgh side of the ball, James Conner is looking to be doubtful. He's probably not going to play. So you got Jalen Samuels coming in there. And really the only healthy back that they have, Benny Snell's also, if he's not ruled out, I'm sure he will be. So who you got in this game?
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh at home. They tend to play well at home. The defense has been looking good, except last week they got shocked early, like we said in the last video against Miami. But I think they'll be good. You know what I mean? You got a fully healthy Colts team, though, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They can put up points. They can score. They were built to go on a Super Bowl run. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that happen with luck. But Brissett has been playing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? As his replacement. So yeah, T.Y. does hurt them a bit, not being there, but. Maybe we'll see Paris Campbell produce some points this week. Or, we've already been seeing Zach Pascal, get a little bit of volume. And Ebron has been playing pretty well in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I would go with the Colts here. Would you? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I got Pittsburgh at home in this matchup, and just because Pittsburgh's defense has been playing very well at home. Last week against the Dolphins, they kind of came in lax, and you saw in the second half they really dominated that front. So, as well as Brissett has been playing, in this game, I still got Brissett and Rudolph both on the sits. I can't start any quarterback in this matchup. I think the defenses are both going to hold true, and I think it'll be a middle-of-the-road type matchup, grind it out. I like Marlon Mack. I do like Ebron in this game. With T.Y. out, can you trust Zach Pascal as the number one receiver? I don't know. He had a big game 2 weeks ago, but I don't know how much you can trust of the through the air. So Mack, I definitely have starting. I mean, he's 3 to 5 in rushing, I think, this year. So ranked between 3 and 5, I'm thinking. So
yeah,
I like Marlon Mack, and then I'm starting Jalen Samuels. I mean, in that offense, you have to. If he's the only healthy back, there's no way to sit him. And Juju, he showed up last week. He's got a cake second half of the schedule. I think he really puts it on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning Jalen Samuels too. Like, he is off a knee scope as well. So you wonder how much volume he's going to actually get. You know what I mean? They got the next guy coming up, Edmonds or whatever. So you have to wonder, is he going to get a lot of touches? He's a great pass catcher. We've seen that ability that he has. And with Mason Rudolph throwing a lot to the running backs in the short game right now, yes, he's going to produce. But how many touches is he realistically going to get, especially knowing that, Connor may be out. You know what I mean? Benny Snell's out. Long-term wise, if he takes the wrong hit to that knee, you know what I mean? They could be without a running back for a while here. So you have to wonder if he is going to get any kind of reduced or limited work as he comes back into it. Deontay Johnson has been a really good target, you know what I mean, for Mason Rudolph so far. He's starting to build his trust a little bit. I don't know why, but it seems like every time he throws the ball to James Washington, he throws an interception. So Juju underneath or playing that slot, I don't know. You know what I mean? It seems like it's almost boom or bust at this point, but Juju is producing all season long, you know what I mean, under any quarterback that he's had. So that's good to know. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah, I'm definitely going that route too. But next matchup, another tough one to call. Chicago Bears on the road against Philly. And you think of the Chicago Bears defense and the struggles that the Philly offense has had over the last few weeks, and you would think with going against Chicago, I'm taking the Bears all day. But the offense of the Chicago Bears has been one of the worst in the league. So, who do you got in this game?
Yeah, this one is extremely tough one to call. Philly has been terrible on offense the last couple of weeks through the air. Wentz has not looked the part. But this week they got D-Jax on the right side of questionable coming back this week. He is a field stretcher. He'll be able to get everybody else more in tune and open for their targets. Is he going to get enough time to throw downfield? You got to wonder. Jason Peters out for, I think, a third straight week, and his replacement is going to see a lot of Khalil Mack in this game. Man, it could be a tough one for him. You know what I mean? It can really be a tough one for him in this game. But you don't know what Trubisky we're going to see. You know what I mean? We don't know what that offense could put up. David Montgomery had a great game last week. He should see a ton of work, you know what I mean, to keep that defense off the field. But through the air, I just don't know. You know what I mean? You like Anthony Miller this week or maybe Trey Burton or Allen Robinson?
Yeah, Allen Robinson, just on volume alone, you kind of have to start. Philadelphia is the worst secondary in the league, giving up the most points to the wide receiver position. So it's a no-brainer to start Allen Robinson. But I do like Anthony Miller in this game. On that other side, I think he can potentially find the end zone this week against that terrible Philly secondary. But like you said, it's hard pressed to trust Mitchell Trubisky for anything.
Yeah.
And Montgomery, as many people have him as the sits, I get it. Philly's front seven's been pretty solid against the run. 2 of the last 3 weeks, they've given up over 100 rushing yards. So obviously it was to Zeke, to Dalvin Cook. I get it. But if David Montgomery sees anywhere from 15 to 20 carries, which is what you hope, he has potential to get 70, 80 rushing yards, maybe find the end zone. But even then, you're looking at a flex guy. So I could see if you got to start him. The Bears' struggles start with them not running the football.
Yeah.
So if they think they're going to have a chance, they need to be able to run the football effectively.
Yeah.
So, and that defense just needs a break. That's the thing. The defense has been on the field a lot this season because the offense of the Bears has been so bad. So the best thing for a defense is a good offense to allow them to catch their breath, especially a strong defense like the Chicago Bears. So I definitely I still got Philly winning this game, man. They're at home, and I think their offense struggles could turn around a little bit, and the Bears defense just hasn't looked the part the last few weeks. And like I said, they spent a lot of time on the field. So if that happens again, I don't see the Bears being able to win.
Yeah. In the NFL, the game starts at the snap. And I think this game is going to be dictated by which defensive line is going to win. So I'm taking Chicago Bears in this game.
I just can't do it just because they're on the road.
I know, it's just Chicago. I got to take them.
I'm taking Philly, but yeah, we're definitely split on that one. Next matchup, we got two of the worst teams in the league playing against each other, and these are always scary matchups where you see a bunch of fantasy guys playing against bad defenses, thinking, "Oh, I could just start everyone," and then then it never works out. So we're looking at the Jets on the road against Miami, and it's a divisional matchup. You got two teams that are the worst in the league. Sam Darnold has looked absolutely horrible. And on the other side of the ball, Ryan Fitzpatrick hasn't looked that bad. I mean, he showed some flashes of playing well, but the Dolphins just can't hold up for 4 quarters. They just cannot. So who do you like in this game if you had to pick one team?
Oh, my God. Just on talent alone, and with Miami being terrible on defense, absolutely terrible. They held very good against Pittsburgh last week in the first half, but can they hold that good against Le'Veon Bell? I think this is a Le'Veon Bell bounce back game, and I think he's going to have a huge game this week. The Jets are still without C.J. Mosley on defense, and you think about the New York Jets defense, still without C.J. Mosley, and they just lost Williams in a trade, right? Up until this point, they've been only averaging, they've only allowed 3.3 yards per carry. So you look at this Mark Walton guy, and I don't see nothing spectacular about him. He has no breakaway speed whatsoever. He has great vision and being able to cut and get points. You know what I'm saying? But he's not he's not a person that's going to take over a game. Let's be honest. Will he be able to produce monster in this game? Because that's what's going to need to happen. They're going to have to control the clock, or this is going to be a shootout through the air. And in this contest, they're kind of evenly matched. You look at Devontae Parker and Preston Williams; they're getting a ton of work down the field. Then you look at Roby. Roby's still getting his targets. It hasn't hit just yet. Sam Darnold's still not back from his mono all the way. So you know what I mean. It's a tough game to call. I'm gonna just roll with the Jets for now.
Yeah,
but I really feel like Miami could pull off this first win.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Miami wins. In my opinion, Fitzpatrick's a better quarterback than Darnold. And we've seen some flashes of greatness from Fitzpatrick. Unbelievable last season through 4 games. I want to say he was leading the league.
Yeah.
So there's opportunities there. And you saw it last week against Pittsburgh Steelers. They put 14 on them real fast. No one expected that. Yeah. So this game, definitely Miami could win the game. But I got the Jets pulling it out in a close one. I like Le'Veon Bell all day. I think Robbie Anderson finally has a really good day today and this week, and you got to start him. I think he's definitely a startable player. And I'm hard pressed to start Darnold. Don't get me wrong; he should do good, but back-to-back struggles. It's hard to start him. But if you're in a pinch, there's some crazy bye weeks. Drew Brees on bye, Matt Ryan on bye, Jared Goff. You know what I mean? So it's like there's some big players, big name players. So, and on the other side of the ball, I do like Devontae Parker finding the end zone, especially against the Jets secondary, who hasn't been bad, but they haven't been great, kind of middle of the road. And if you're in a pinch, Fitzmagic, man. Fitzpatrick, you might have to start him.
Another thing is all the trade things that's been going on with the Jets lately. You got to wonder what's going on with Jamal Adams. He seems upset. He seems like he don't want to be there. You have to wonder, is he going to quit on the team? So, either he's going to absolute beast and show you like you finna trade me, or he's just going to absolutely quit on this team.
I don't think he's going to quit. He still hasn't talked to the coach and stuff. That's what they were reporting today. But I don't think he's going to quit. I think he's going to go out and slap, honestly. And we're both on the same side. We got the Jets this week. Yeah. But next matchup, a nice one. Minnesota on the road against Kansas City. And it's looking like Patrick Mahomes is still not going to play. They're giving him the questionable tag, but I think they're going to give it one more week. So you're looking at another week with Matt Moore going against that Minnesota secondary, which has shown some leaks. Don't get me wrong. I'd be starting Tyreek Hill all day. Xavier Rhodes just hasn't looked the part. He's shown greatness before, but this season he's really struggled. So, and he's been giving up a ton of pass interference plays He's been getting beat down the field. So I look for Tyreek Hill to have a big day for sure. But, I mean, who do you like?
I mean, but outside of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, you know what I mean? There's just a carousel of wide receivers that you don't know who you can trust week to week.
They like McCole Hardman, man. He's been getting a lot of run, a lot of quick plays, screen passes. I mean, he's fast, lightning speed. They're still finding ways to get him the ball out in space. So that's another guy if you had to take a chance on. But
yeah, I think the running backs are out for Kansas City for me. You know, they'll probably be on my sits in this one against that Minnesota defense. You know what I mean? Dalvin Cook all day long. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I don't know how much. Now, if like we were saying, like if Mahomes is in this game, then you could probably trust both wide receivers. In this game, I don't think you could trust Thielen as much just because he's coming back off injury and he's still questionable to even play this game.
Yeah, if he's going to play.
So, you know, is this a Diggs type of week where he's throwing bombs? I'm not so sure. It might be a Dalvin Cook, Kyle Rudolph game. You know what I mean? Just a slow, grinded out game and hope that the defense can make plays and make stops against Matt Moore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Damian Williams is kind of a dart throw to me if you have to play him in your flex spot and take a chance. I mean, like I said, with the bye weeks, I would take a chance on Damian Williams, but I don't see LaShawn McCoy getting much love in this game.
Yeah.
Against that front of Minnesota. And yeah, I'm on the same boat with Diggs. I'm hard pressed to see a big game out of him. Now, if Thielen's out, there's no way to sit Diggs. I mean, you're looking at 10 plus targets guaranteed. So you can't sit a guy like that. But if Thielen plays, how healthy is he going to be? He also has a hamstring too, so he might be limited in play. So I would probably be starting Diggs and Thielen here if you have to, but Thielen's injury is really playing a factor for me. But I still think I think Kansas City takes care of business at home. They played pretty well against Green Bay last week. They had a chance to win. Aaron Rodgers made some amazing plays. I think Kansas City finds a way to win against Minnesota. Yeah,
like I just said, the game starts at the snap, and a sneaky factor in this game could be Kansas City's pass rush. They've been very good the last couple of weeks. They've looked very good. They shut down Flacco that game. Last game against Green Bay, they looked pretty well also. So you know what happens to Kirk Cousins when he gets under pressure. You know what I mean? He just completely unravels. So that's what I'm saying. I think they're probably going to the coaching staff will probably try to keep the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands and rely on the running game and possibly get a good look down the field for Diggs. But, you know, Honey Badger back there, he ain't playing right now. You know what I'm saying? He's playing pretty good football. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Minnesota in this game.
Okay.
I'm going with Dalvin Cook and that defense all day long.
I see it. I don't see how they could stop Dalvin Cook. I mean, the guy's a madman. I want to say he's leading the league in rushing, and Kansas City's bottom 5 defense against the rush.
He's the MVP candidate right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll split on that one. But next matchup, we got Tennessee on the road against Carolina, and this game's kind of hard pressed to call it all. But for me, I like Derrick Henry as a start. Carolina's been beat on the ground definitely this year, giving up more than 100 yards rushing per game. Their secondary's picked up and been strong, but they've still given up plays on the ground. So I like Derrick Henry as a start. Jonnu Smith, Carolina's actually been pretty good against the tight end position, but I think just with the target share that he's warranting, I mean, you got to start him. It's the tight ends, and it's just not deep enough. Corey Davis, it's hard pressed to start him at all, but he has a chance, I think, to get a little bit of run, but I still don't see him being a viable starter, especially this week. And then other side of the ball, Carolina, Chris McCaffrey, Greg Olsen all day. But Tennessee's defense has been solid too. This one's a real tough game for me to call. They have very similar attributes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're very equally matched up. Even though the quarterback, wide receiver positions, you know what I'm saying? You got Kyle Allen with DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. Then on the other side of the ball, you got Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown, and Corey Davis. You know what I'm saying? So this is tough. You know what I mean? But Carolina does tend to play better on defense at home. So I think I'm going to go with Carolina in this game as well.
Yeah,
I think they're 3.5 point favorite? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am taking Carolina too. At home, they just play like a different animal. And Christian McCaffrey should take care of business. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
it's like they got 10 guys in Christian McCaffrey on offense.
Yeah, exactly. So, so next matchup we're going to look at the Redskins on the road against the Buffalo Bills. And it's almost
Buffalo
it's
Bills.
almost it's almost a no-brainer. I mean, realistically, you can't start anybody on Washington. I looked at Adrian Peterson just for pure volume alone over the last 3 weeks. He's had over 18 carries, I want to say, and he's finished with anywhere between 7 to 10 fantasy points. So if you're stuck in a pinch and you need a guy, that's the only guy I would even possibly contemplate starting, even in a tough matchup against Buffalo Bills, who have given up a little bit of running room. So, but outside of that, Dwayne Haskins starting this week. I'm sitting Terry McLaurin. Even as great as he's been, Haskins just has not looked good. And the Buffalo on the road against Buffalo Bills, top 5 defense. I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer.
It's hard for me. The only reason why it's hard is because Buffalo tends to play to the level of their opponents. You know what I mean? They're not a team that's going to blow anybody out. You know what I mean? So even Washington, you know what I mean? They're not going to blow Washington out of the park. And they're a 9.5 point favorite, which I don't understand. You know,
it's the lowest over under though in like a long time. I read that. Really? 36, I want to say. Their over under is 36 points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's low.
Dwayne Haskins is not, you know what I mean, a scrub. Yes, he threw for 50 touchdowns in college. You know what I mean? His senior year last year, McLaurin was on that team, so they're probably going to be he's probably going to be looking downfield for him a lot. But you got to wonder who Tre'Davious White is going to be on. You got to wonder, can Adrian Peterson produce against this defense? Darius Geis is not back. I don't think Chris Thompson is back.
Nope.
So there's not a lot to love if you're a Washington Redskins fan. You know what I mean? At all.
That's another L.
Yeah, it's a L. Buffalo. Let's move on.
Buffalo all day. All right. Tampa Bay. This is another great game, actually. Tampa Bay at Seattle. Lots of starts in this game. There's very few guys you could sit on both sides of the ball. But I still got Jameis Winston on the sits. Man, he turns the ball over too much. Even in a game where he could have 300 and a couple touchdowns, he might have 2 interceptions and a fumble. So he's losing a touchdown. I mean, can he get you 20 points? Sure. Even throwing up turnovers.
But he could have got you 40 points.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but I'm definitely starting. You can't sit Godwin. You can't sit Mike Evans. And if Braid is healthy, I like Braid in this game. Seattle's been susceptible a little bit to the tight end position, giving up some points. So definitely starting Braid. On the other side of the ball, I like Chris Carson just with the consistency, even against a strong front of Tampa. They just haven't given up nothing to the running back position. But I think he'll enough volume. I mean, 20 carries in 3 straight games. So just the volume alone, he's gonna be there, and he's a pass catcher too. He catches passes out of the backfield. So I'm starting him, and then Lockett and Metcalf should be starts all day. That Tampa secondary has been bad, and those guys should feast. And Wilson should probably be a top 3 play this week. That's my start of the week. I like Russell Wilson to have the most points.
Yeah, I agree there. Here's the deal. Russell Wilson has the most passing touchdowns in the league right now. Tampa Bay allows the second most yards through the air, which always has them blown out in games. You know what I'm saying? People always score on them. So that's why James Winston every week is a sit. His wide receivers, his receiving core is not. You know what I mean? So as they trail in games all the time, you could see Godwin and Mike Evans getting a lot of targets every game consistently. You know what I mean? Their running game is pretty much non-existent, only in great matchups.
And split right down the middle.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to see here. I think the 12th man is going to play a factor as well. And yeah, I think you're going to see Seattle, you know what I mean, scoring on them early, and Russell Wilson just doing what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, DK Lockett starts. A sleeper in that game is Hollister, that tight end. He might blow up because, you know, they just gave up Jonnu Smith like
70 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? And then you're going to see James Winston air it out. You know what I mean? He might have 5 interceptions, but he also might have 5 touchdowns. Seattle's defense is pretty good. You know what I mean? So it should limit them and give them trouble. So that those interceptions, those turnovers will be there. But I'm guaranteeing Mike Evans and Godwin are going to see value in this game, period. So fire up the wide receivers for Tampa Bay. Other than that, I don't see any starts for Tampa on that side in this game at all. And yeah, like you said, Carson should get production just on their scheme. You know what I mean? They run the ball a lot. And this year they've been passing a little bit more, but he's going to see, like you said, 70, 80 yards. You know what I'm saying? He might break 100 on them. You never know. But that Tampa front seven is pretty good as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I got Seattle all day.
Yeah, Seattle. It's a no-brainer. Even though Tampa can put up points. So we can move on. Detroit at Oakland. This should be some firepower. I mean, you got two offenses that are really hitting stride right now, and two defenses that are reeling. So in this game, I'm firing up all offenses. Realistically, there's very little starts or very little sits other than the Detroit backfield. For me, who's going to play, they're in a complete committee with 3 to 4 guys. They went out today. Jay Ajayi worked out for him, so we'll see if he signs, but even then, he's not going to play this week. So, yeah, they don't know what they're going to do at the running back position. So, you know what that means? They're going to throw the football.
Yeah.
So, should be a high-scoring game. Should be a lot of starts in this game. Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr. if you want. I like Danny Amendola personally, just on the volume of the pass attempts that he's gotten, the targets. I'm sorry. And on the other side of the ball, this should be a game for Derek Carr. I mean, this is a streamer week all week that we've been talking about, where you should see somewhere between 25 and 30 fantasy points more than likely. He's going to have to throw the football to stay in the game, and Jacobs should run a lot, but I think it's going to be high scoring.
Yeah, I think so too. You look at Derek Carr this week, him and T. Will have connected on a touchdown on every single game that T. Will has played. Darren Waller should have a big game. I think the factor in this game is going to be Josh Jacobs as Detroit is giving up 136 yards on the road, you know what I'm saying, on the ground. So I think Josh Jacobs will have a big game as well. Both teams are bottom 3 in the league against the pass. So we're going to see fireworks. It's a 50-point over and under. Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, Danny Amendola. You might be able to start Hawkinson in this game.
Oakland struggled against tight end. 2 touchdowns, Darren Fells last week, so yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Everybody, well, not everybody on Oakland offense. Obviously, T. Will, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Waller. Start them all. You know what I mean? If I had to pick a win, I'm going to take Oakland at home.
I like Oakland at home. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely a Raiders fan all day, but I just have a feeling the Lions are going to have too much for them. Yeah. And if they get out too far, I'm afraid Derek Carr won't be able to pull them back. So that's my only worry with the game, depending on the game script. I like the Lions on the road. I just think overall they're a little bit better team. But, I mean, I'm a Raiders fan at heart. I want the Raiders to win, of course. But I'm going to go with the Lions. So next matchup we're going to look at, Green Bay Packers on the road against the Chargers. The Chargers have been struggling, man. And they've dealt with a lot of injuries, 1. And 2, Phillip Rivers is not looking like he might be showing some slowdown. Yeah. Finally. So it's his 16th year in the league,
Something like that.
Yeah. So they're not looking too hot on offense. Now, this could be a get right game for Melvin Gordon. Green Bay Packers have given up a lot of yards on the ground. So that's what I'm saying. So I like Melvin Gordon in this matchup. He should have a get right game, in my opinion. Eckler, I'm worried about because last week I want to say he almost didn't see the ball till the second half at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. And since Melvin Gordon's been back, he's only averaged like 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
For me, obviously, I like the Green Bay Packers in this one. Overall, the Green Bay Packers have played very sound football. They run the football effectively. Aaron Rodgers is showing that he can still throw 300-400 yards, 3-4 touchdowns. And then you got Aaron Jones dominating the ground game. So
look like Jamal Charles out there.
I'm telling you. And he might have his favorite, and Aaron Rodgers might have his favorite toy back this week, Devontae Adams. So he might get 30 targets. You never know.
Yeah, I think unanimously Green Bay Packers all day long. Yeah, this is a home game for Green Bay as like nobody shows up for the Chargers at home. So, you know what I mean? I just don't think with all the injuries that they've had, the LA Chargers, I don't think they have enough to stop Green Bay in this game. You know what I mean? I just really don't at all points of it. Maybe Devontae Adams will probably see a lot of Casey Hayward, but Casey Hayward ain't really been all that great this year. You know what I mean? He don't have the cast to support him. So, man, you got to like Lazard. You got to like MVS, Geronimo Allison, all those receivers, and including Jimmy Graham. They've all been producing. So, I'm not saying start all those guys, but I'm saying start Aaron Rodgers in this game. He's going to produce. It's probably going to be a ridiculous game.
Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, probably.
Yeah,
I would start both of them. They've both been producing. So,
yeah, Green Bay all day.
Yeah. And then I got a couple sits. Jimmy Graham, especially if Devontae Adams comes back. I think target share might go down a little bit with Devontae Adams being healthy. And then on top of that, the Chargers have actually been pretty effective against the tight end position. So he's a fade for me, but if you got to start him, I get it. And then Phillip Rivers, I think he's going to just continue to struggle. So I'm hard-pressed to start him. He's got to face Jair Alexander is going to be probably shadowing Keenan Allen to some extent. Mike Williams hasn't shown up, and I think Hunter Henry has a good game. So
I was just going to ask you that. Keenan Allen's been a little bit banged up. So who would you rather start in a game if you needed a wide receiver in this game? Would you start Marquez Valdez-Scantling or would you start Keenan Allen this week?
I would start Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, just the target share alone, 10 targets last week, even in a hurt game. He actually got pulled off the injury report today. So he's not hurt. I would start Keenan Allen. Now, Mike Williams, I probably still would start Mike Williams because I think at some point the Chargers are going to be down in this game and they're going to have to try and play comeback mode. So you might see a bunch of meaningless yards, which is good for fantasy.
Okay, so what about Jamal Williams or Austin Eckler?
I think I need to start Eckler just because of the chance of the volume. You never know. Don't get me wrong. If they're down, Melvin Gordon might not, even though he does catch passes in that passing game, when they're down and they're going to shootout mode, Eckler usually runs that. So I think Eckler could see a ton of targets and a ton of catches for no yards. You know what I mean? You know how it is. So I do like Jamal Williams, though. I mean, if I had both of them on my lineup, I would be starting Eckler over him just because of the pure talent so far that we've seen so far from Eckler this year.
I can see that.
But I'm on the same boat with you, Green Bay all day.
Yep.
So next matchup, we got Cleveland Browns on the road against Denver. And news is Joe Flacco got put on IR today. So he's out for the season. We're looking at Brandon Allen. Now, I don't know much about him. I know he's been a backup for a few years to a couple of teams. So what he can do over there in Denver, I'm not really sure. But I do know one thing, they should run the football a lot. I like Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. You see Freeman starting to get those red zone looks a little bit. He's already getting the passing down work. And especially with a new quarterback like that, you're gonna see a lot of dump offs. So I think Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman both have plenty of value in this game. And then on top of that, maybe Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's the only other receiver that's been targeted over there. Deshaun Hamilton only one target last week. So maybe Cortland Sutton if you're in a pinch, but outside of that, I mean, who do you like?
I don't know. We've seen. I don't think it's just necessarily Joe Flacco just staying in the pocket. We've seen that offensive line against good pass rushes just be terrible, and they got a front led by Myles Garrett this week. That kid is no joke. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Brandon Allen. I've seen a little bit of college on Brandon Allen in Arkansas, but I don't remember no Arkansas quarterbacks being that dominant. Another plus for that Cleveland Brown defense for them to get back on track. They finally get Greedy Williams back since week 1. That should be good. You know what I'm saying? Now you got Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams back there. Demarius Randall's still out, but that helps them a ton in coverage. So you think about it. I don't think that they're going to put the ball in Brandon Allen's hands. You know what I'm saying? To try to win this game. Like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of volume through the running backs, hopefully. And hopefully for the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb, they're not going to be. I don't think they're going to be stopping Nick Chubb. The Patriots didn't stop Nick Chubb.
There's not a team in the league.
So Calvin Harris Jr. Yes, he's been shutting people down all year, but he got a two-headed monster that he got to face this week. And Baker has to do something, or he's going to probably get benched pretty soon, or cause a coach to get fired. You know what I mean? We seen them going to Baltimore a few weeks ago and winning a tough matchup in that game. I think Cleveland comes in there and kicks their ass, to be honest with you.
The only thing I worry about is Mile High plays a huge factor in the way teams play. So, but you never know. I mean, you saw Kansas City coming in and flat out dominate them at home. Yeah. So I get it. I could take Cleveland in this game, but they've really struggled on offense. And Baker's just looked like a fool over the first 8 weeks. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me coming off of 27, 28 touchdowns last year?
Yeah.
Rookie year. So
to this year not throwing a multiple touchdown game all season long.
Exactly.
Snapple facts.
Exactly. So I'm going to take Denver here, but I could see it. This game's a kind of a coin toss too. Either team could win it, but I think Denver at home, even with Brandon Allen, I think they get the job done. That defense, I think it's good enough to take care of business.
I'm taking the Browns. The doo-doo Browns, I'm taking them.
All right. Next up on the docket, we got probably my favorite game of the week, New England Patriots on the road against Baltimore.
Ooh.
Sunday Night Football. Now, Baltimore coming off a bye, had 2 weeks to prepare for the Patriots. What could they do?
They can beat the Patriots. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to beat the New England Patriots this week. I really do think so. I think they're going to try to stop Lamar Jackson from running the football, which is not going to happen. You've seen last week Chubb destroyed him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that defense is as advertised. They've played nobody really like Baltimore. You know what I mean? Marquise Brown is going to be able to stretch out that field and get Stephon Gilmore out the way. And, you know, they got a host of receivers over there. Mark Andrews. New England has not faced a good tight end all season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody.
So you got Mark Andrews. You got Boykin, Willie Snead, who's been, you know, very productive in the recent weeks. So
Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Jimmy Smith on defense is back. You know what I'm saying? Their corner. They just had Marcus Peters. They just acquired Marcus Peters, who just had a pick 6 against Seattle. I think this defense is very motivated to beat Tom Brady, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm on a similar boat with you. I do like Baltimore at home this week, and New England has not faced anybody, and I take nothing away from them. I still think they're a great football team, and probably going to end up in the Super Bowl again.
Yeah,
just the road that they take. Yeah. It is what it is. But Baltimore, I think they're going to try so hard to stop the run. They're the only way to have to have the Ravens beat you is have Lamar beat you with his arm.
Yeah, in
my opinion. So they have not faced a good tight end, and especially a quarterback that's gotten outside of the pocket and been able to make plays. I think Mark Andrews still has a decent day, even though a lot of people have him on the sits. I think he's going to have a decent day. And then Hollywood Brown, he's got Stephon Gilmore against him. I get it, one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah,
can he hang with the speed of him? I don't know. One and two, you already know it's going to be kind of scramble drills anyway. So all it takes is a little, loop around, whatever. Brown could be down the field. So he's that fast of a player.
I'm telling you.
If you're starting him this week, there's a lot of beware with it, but he's huge boomer bust. I think he could either have a very good day or do nothing at all. So if you got a spot where you need a lot of points, you might have to take a chance with it.
What do you think about New England's offense?
So New England, I like their offense to the aspect that in this game, I'm sitting both running backs on both sides of the ball. I think they're both going to struggle to run the football. So, and Tom Brady, I get it. If you're starting him, you have to. But I really think he might struggle in this game. I don't think he's going to have a huge day.
Would you say you think it'd be room for a James White type of game?
Absolutely. This is the thing with James White. Every single game this year, he's had in half-point PPR scoring 9 fantasy points or more. Every single game that he's played. So he hasn't had the explosion games that we've missed, but he's been so consistent that he's an easy flex guy if you have to. You're going to get 9 to 10 points.
It's weird because you know what it is. It's like if you look at the games outside of the, he was absent. He had a kid or whatever, but you've seen Rex Burkhead emerge a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And he can both pass catch and run the ball. So he's been kind of eating that Sony Michel and James White's production a bit. You know what I mean? I think that's why we haven't seen the monster games that he had last year. You know what I mean? But Sony, I don't see this as a good game for Sony Michel at all.
No.
You know what I mean? I think Baltimore is going to be able to slow him down a lot. James White could do some work, you know what I'm saying, in that pass game, but they might lean a little bit on Burkhead because he can do both. You know what I mean? Because I think they'll be expecting James White if he's on the field, you know what I'm saying, to put somebody out there on him. So Edelman has been, not 100% all season.
But still producing good, man.
Yeah, very good.
You can't sit him. He's top 5 receiver, I want to say, or he's a top 10 receiver on the year. So.
Yeah. And on the other side of that, they got Mohamed Sanu, a big target. You know what I'm saying? That I'm not sure if Marcus Peters will be on him or Jimmy Smith, but they're both well enough capable defenders. But Sanu is a great player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's a good playmaker. So we'll see what happens. Outside of those players, I don't see too much for that offense, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's gonna be a grinded out game where both running backs struggle, and it's going to be a lot of short passes. You might see some big plays, but outside of that, I'm taking Baltimore at home.
Yep.
So, last matchup we got, Dallas Cowboys on the road against the Giants. Monday Night Football. And it's hard because the Dallas Cowboys defense last week, after they almost shut out the Eagles, are now facing the New York Giants on the road, And I think there's some viable starts for the Giants. I like Golden Tate just because of the volume. Evan Ingram against the Dallas Cowboys, who've given up some fantasy room to the tight end position. Week 1, you saw that Evan Ingram had over 100 yards and a touchdown against Cowboys. So I like Evan Ingram in this spot, and obviously Saquon Barkley. This is pretty cool. We get to see Saquon versus Zeke. This is gonna be a monster game to see.
Oh, yeah.
And
we've seen it week 1.
Well, we did.
Yeah. Michael Gallup had a good game in that one.
Dak had over 400 passing yards.
Yeah, they started the season very hot, but they've calmed down a little bit lately. You know what I'm saying? They're still playing pretty well. Rookie quarterback Danny Dimes looked good last week.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get just yet out of this rookie quarterback. But, he's up for the challenge. You know that for sure. And it's Monday Night Football. So we covered it a little bit in the video prior. Darius Slayton could be a factor in this game. Evan Ingram, I think, is going to have a really good game. You know what I mean?
Shepard's back and healthy.
Yeah, Shepard's back. So that offense is 100% running right now. You know what I mean? They can keep up with Dallas, I think. I really think they can. It just depends on, Dallas's defense.
Absolutely.
Last year, we seen Dallas defense being one of the best defense in the league. This year's been a little bit inconsistent. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I would probably still give this to Dallas, but this is a divisional game on Monday Night Football, so you never know. The Giants might win at home. You know what I mean? They might want to fight more. You know what
of
I'm
course.
saying?
Kind of like the Cardinals. And you start the week off with a divisional rival game, and you see how close it was.
Yeah.
Two teams that are completely opposite spectrums. This is very similar.
And what is it like? Golden Tate has had at least 80 yards or a touchdown since he's been back.
Yeah, Golden Tate's been eating.
I mean, man,
So,
Yeah,
the only guys I got sitting in this game, I'm hard-pressed to sit Daniel Jones, but it's the Cowboys' defense. I get it. They've been pretty good, especially last week against Carson Wentz, but they were at home.
Yeah.
And Sterling Shepard. I'm hard-pressed to start Shepard if he's got Byron Jones going to be shadowing him. I like Golden Tate better coming out of the slot. And, both running backs kind of fire up almost everybody. Yep. But I got Dallas.
Yep, Dallas Cowboys. That about wraps it up. It's week 9. You know what it is. First word downs. G-O-D.
You Scott.
We out.